What if I told you you've been studying wrong the entire time? Because the way you've been studying for years might actually be sabotaging your grades without you even realizing. Because in school, we were only ever taught the content, but never actually how to study in order to optimize our grades. So it makes sense to believe that if you put in the hours, good grades will naturally come. But just like how someone may go to the gym with the wrong techniques, wrong methodologies, and wrong diet, for years they may see little to no results, simply because they never learned the right techniques. Thus, assuming that blindly studying leads to good grades is a really reckless approach, which is why most students do poorly on exams and don't know how to study. Because I was just like that, averaging 4s to 5s in grade 9, wondering why I always scored so low despite studying so hard and for so long, until I developed techniques of my own, techniques that I will share with you today, techniques that got me IB 45. Firstly, ever answer a test question correctly, with the right explanation, right idea, only to lose marks with feedback saying, too vague?
No, I usually get a feedback of, oh, too vague.
The reason isn't because you don't understand the concept. It's that schools grade based on a mark scheme, which requires specific keywords to earn full marks. Even if your explanation is correct, missing these exact terms can lead to deductions. To guarantee full marks, to maximize your score, you need to use the required wording verbatim. Hence, my first strategy would be the complete memorization of your notes, where you're able to regurgitate the content verbatim. This is the only way to ensure that you don't lose petty marks and maximize your grades. And it is the only way to guarantee that all your concepts and explanations check off all the keywords in the mark scheme on the exam. In fact, by memorizing content, you no longer have to stop to think about what to write on the exam, simply regurgitating the content once you see the questions, saving you a lot of time. This is especially important on long answer or essay style questions where you need to import a lot of theory. During the IB exam, not once have I ever stopped to think about what to write. By memorizing, I became a machine, speeding through the content while my peers would stop to struggle and think about every single question. So if you struggle with time on the exam, memorization of content is also for you, as it will save you a lot of time on the exam. This is how you memorize. Firstly, you'll want to have physical notes, either written or printed. This is to be able to cover it up during recitation later on. In your notes, you want to have the concept on top and the definition or explanation below. Then you want to read the concept and explanation out loud and try to commit it to memory. Then using another notebook, cover up the explanation. Then read the concept out loud and try to recite its explanation. And now calibrate whether you need to fix what you just recited. If you recited it wrong, then read, cover, and recite again. This process continues until you memorize the explanation word for word, just like this. Photographic memory, the ability to remember information or visual images in great detail. Let me cover this up and try it again. Photographic memory, the ability to remember information in great detail. Oh, I missed out visual images, so let me try it again. Photographic memory, the ability to remember information or visual images in great detail. Okay, so I got that correct, and now let's move on to the next one. Recollection, the action or faculty of remembering something. Recollection, the action or faculty of... Oh, I forgot, so let me do it again. Recollection, the action or faculty of remembering something. Recollection, the action or faculty of remembering something. So now let's move on to the third definition. So that is how you memorize basically. After memorizing the first concept, you move on to the next concept and do the exact same thing. Read it out loud, cover it up, try to recite it. If you fail, do the process again until you succeed. The reason behind reading and reciting out loud is to trigger multiple senses, which helps enhance memorization. It includes motor processing, moving your mouth, making it more active, visual processing, reading the words, resulting in deeper learning, and finally, auditory processing. As you hear the words, it reinforces memory and comprehension. Furthermore, after memorizing every 3 new pages, I want you to go back 3 pages as your brain has already started to forget this information. This process of reciting every 3 pages helps retain this information in your brain, acting as the review curves on the graph. Finally, once you've reached your daily memorization goal, such as memorizing 10 pages today, I need you to fully recite all 10 pages again. This entire process helps cement all that content into your memory, allowing you to unlock photographic memory. However, it is also crucial to use notes that guarantee full marks once memorized. Imagine spending so much time memorizing content just to get marks deducted because the explanations you memorized were subpar. This leads us to my second advice: using or making high quality notes. For those of you in the IB, if you're looking for notes to memorize that guarantee 7s, you are in luck. Because I have just released my geography, economics, and computer science notes that I personally made and used to achieve IB 45. So you no longer need to waste time note taking and wondering if your notes will get you a 7. Simply purchase and memorize my notes and 7s will be guaranteed. So make sure to check out my notes in the link in the description below. But for those of you who want to make your own notes, this is how. Firstly, identify what the better resource is for your subject: the slides your teacher uses or the textbook provided in class. Then you want to read and analyze the resources and understand the concepts within. Afterwards, write down on a Google Doc or your notebook the concept on the top and then the explanation directly below it. You do this for all the concepts, definitions, and explanations. If there are some explanations that you are confused about, research online and ask your teacher for clarifications. That is how you take notes. Afterwards, simply memorize those notes. Lastly, after you memorize all your notes, you want to be doing past papers to familiarize yourself with the question types, long answer structures, timing, and pacing. This is a crucial part of studying because even if you memorize all your notes without past papers, you are basically walking into the exam blind, as you have not familiarized yourself with how the exam is structured. By familiarizing yourself, you now have an advantage as you now know how much time to spend on each question, and especially for long answer essays with specific structures, you can only naturalize these skills through repetition and consistent practice. As for the ratio between memorization and past papers, I would say prioritize on memorizing all the content, spending around 80% of your time memorizing. Now understand, memorization and past papers take up a lot of time, which is why I always preach that there is a direct correlation with time studied and marks gained. The more you memorize and the more past papers you do, the higher your marks will be. Thus, I recommend you studying as much as possible. In the IB, I studied for over 12 hours a day for 2 years straight. So keep that in mind. The more time you spend memorizing and doing past papers, the higher your grade will be. Now that is the end of the video, guys. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications because I'll be releasing many more study tips and study guide videos in the future. And if you guys need help with studying, with procrastination, like specific IB subjects like economics, geography, English, computer science, and math, make sure to check out my courses where I detail all of these problems and community Scholars Pack. See you guys in the next video.